Game preview, the Houston Texans and Tennessee Titans, the second matchup of the season series. We meet again for the first time since week 4. Johnny, the Titans, are they different with Mike McCoy? I think that's a question. And also, what kind of boost, if any, do they get coming out of their bye?
Well, I think I'll handle the bye first. I do think just getting a chance to reset, especially with the rookie quarterback, step back, look at, and I know teams that we always say self-scout, they're self-scouting all the time. But just the opportunity to step back, everybody gets a chance to just breathe. Okay, what is it we do well, Cam Ward? What are some of the things we thought we would do well, we don't? Let's get rid of those. What are some of the things that we probably aren't doing well, but we could improve, and I think we need to? Okay, let's focus on those and practice a little bit more. I think coming out of the bye, we'll see a fresh Titans team, but it's also a team that, from the time we saw them in week 4, they've traded away a couple of key pieces, Draymond Jones, Roger McCreary. So they've also got a couple pieces back, too. So we'll see. And they've got a couple of guys hurt that could really be advantageous for the Texans if guys like Jeffrey Simmons does not play.
And I recommend rest.
Yes, rest for Jeffrey Simmons. That is the rest. More cowbell and rest.
All right, this is the 25th ranked defense in the NFL, the Tennessee Titans. And against the run, they're 27th. The Texans ran the ball better last week. You know D'Amico Ryans wants to run the rock. No matter who's playing quarterback, run the ball. Shorten this game to 2.5 hours. Get out of there with a workmanlike win. That's got to be one of the goals. You know, don't leave the outcome in such doubt heading into the fourth quarter. But the last time the Titans played a game, it was with the Chargers at home. They lost the game, but it was a 3-point game going into the fourth quarter, so you better be ready for anything.
No doubt. And Graham Mertz's teammate and good friend, Chimere DK, punt return against the Chargers. Those are Parker Washington last week, a punt return against the Texans. So if you let them have one of those touchdowns, we talked about it when we got ready for week 4. We went back to 2018. In that game where the Titans had a lot of guys hurt, how did they put points on the board? Well, Dan Cruikshank with a fake punt reception for 69 yards and a touchdown. It was a 3-point game. Take away that fake punt, we win the game. But you gave it up. DK is the kind of guy that can make a play that way. But it's a defense that, the Titans defense, that when it's going well, the linebackers can play well. Ced Gray has become a better and more interesting factor for the defense, whether Simmons plays or not, Sweat inside. You know, they've got a lot of guys that can make it problematic for you to run the ball. I think the biggest question, and to go with that key of running the ball, is what does your offensive line look like?
Yeah.
How is that reconfigured? Either way, that 14-play drive against the Jaguars doesn't happen at the end if that offensive line doesn't punch the Jacksonville Jaguars' pretty solid defensive line right in the mouth.
Right.
There were, I think, 5 runs, maybe more. Maybe, I think it was maybe 6 or 7 maybe. But every run was a positive run, and they moved people off the ball. Now, maybe Jacksonville was just trying to give ground a little bit, not trying to give a touchdown, whatever. But it felt like they were physically taking over the game, and that's the way I know D'Amico Ryans wants this offensive line to play. So we'll see how it's reconfigured or configured for Sunday against the Titans. But you got great play out of Ariante Ursher. You got really good play out of Trent Brown. Drew Scruggs did some really good things. You saw some of the power. He held Eric Armstead out of there. So how is that 5 configured on Sunday against the Titans? Regardless of how it's configured, it's got to come off the ball and hit them in the mouth and let the run game speak for itself.
Another thing to watch out for, I want to be polite here, but this is a team, a lot of people from the outside say, oh, they're going for a high draft choice, whatever. But this is not the kind of draft where there's this golden pot at the end of the rainbow or whatever. You have to think about Mike McCoy, the way they're going to approach this thing. I think they're very interested in being highly competitive, especially against the Houston Texans. We know how ownership feels of the Tennessee Titans, and they want to get this done. This is the first time in, 3 years that you will play them up there where they are not wearing the Oiler uniforms.
That's right.
I think some of that, it's not a factor, but they want this one badly.
Yeah.
And they're going to sell out to do it. Now, you mentioned some pieces are gone, that kind of thing. But they want to be competitive. And Mike McCoy did some good things with the Chargers, went to the playoffs. had the #1 offense in the league as a coordinator in Denver. He had Peyton Manning. Okay, we have to have full disclosure there, but he did do that.
Yep.
He's a pretty good coach, pretty talented guy.
Yeah, and they're going to want to be competitive in this one, especially against us. I mean, A.B. Adams-Strunk is going to demand that it's competitive against us. And so we just have to go in there, and I think, first of all, you have to remember what they did to you last year in Week 12. They came into this building, and we were coming off the Monday night win, I believe, against the Cowboys. I believe we were coming off that win.
And played flat.
And we were flat. Even though Damian runs the ball back, Kate Stover catches a touchdown on the first play, and you're like, we're up 7-0. We're going to run these dudes out the building. And then all of a sudden, we gave up big throws. We relaxed in the secondary. Will Levis carved us up like 4 times. And it was kind of feast or famine. It was like Levis deep ball, Levis sack. And we just got caught in not playing very well at all. And then the defense just completely melted down when Chigakonkwo just ran right through our secondary untouched, basically. And that was it. That was the game. And you look up and you're like, we lost to the Titans? We lost to the Titans? Really? And I would guarantee you, D'Amico Ryans, that's the first thing he said to them, because everybody in Houston all week is like, oh, yeah, we're getting to 500. It's the Titans. We're getting to 500 this week. We'll be 5-5 after this game. It's like, remember that Week 12 game.
Right.
You can't tiptoe into that game. You can't get comfortable. Oh, we got a 7-0 lead. We got a 14-0 lead. No, you got to pour it on. And then, you got to make them want to leave.
And then show them what Miami did to Buffalo last week, because Buffalo goes into Miami thinking we're going to get well here, no problem. And bam, the Dolphins not only won, they won convincingly. Sleeper of the game, I've got Jaden Higgins to have another big game. Had a nice outing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's really coming around. Nico Collins attracts a lot of attention. Dalton Schultz, oh my gosh, they have to worry about him. Higgins, Noel, these guys can make hay here, especially Jaden, who's coming off a really nice game.
I like it.
Okay.
You know, defensively, there's so many stars. So when you look at defense, like, well, is that guy really kind of a sleeper of the game? And so I'm like, And then I remembered last year. And I'm like, Derek Barnett.
Yeah.
This is one of those games I feel like that, kind of like last year. You know, I don't think people, we were in charge most of that game, but it really wasn't until Barnett got that touchdown where we kind of put the capper on him.
Yep.
But with the way Will and Daniil play, every single week they can't play 50, 60, 70 plays. And Derek Barnett has been giving him some really good reps. He had that really nice tackle for a loss in the backfield. He's done some really good things since the Texans acquired him in 2023. I think this is one of those games where he's going to end up making a play, having a sack, something that ends a drive. They got to settle for a field goal instead of a touchdown, or they got to punt instead of go for it on 4th down. And Derek Barnett is going to make a play or two. And he's going back to Tennessee where he played his college ball, so there's always motivation there. But when thinking about a sleeper, there aren't many sleepers on the defense, but I think Derek Barnett kind of falls in that category, and he always tends to make big plays at key times. So I think Derek Barnett's going to be my sleeper.
I like that. Plus, you began the week without knowledge of CJ, but also knowing that Mills played there last year, didn't start the game, but played the bulk of the game, and you won the game, and that was good. Texans and Titans.
If it turns out that CJ doesn't play in this game against the Titans, that'll be 3 trips to Nashville, and he will have played 2 series.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's it. So it's going to be be interesting. Last time Davis was there as a starter, what happened? We started the game an hour late in the cold and came home with a win in 2022
on Christmas.
Yes.
That's it. Game preview. Texans, Titans. Go Texans.